So did you see this weekend, two different games? The Clippers versus Phoenix and Minnesota versus did they play? Who did Minnesota play? OKC, I believe. Somebody like that. I may have the other team
Okay.
wrong,
Yeah,
but I think it was OKC or Memphis. It was Memphis, I think. Somebody like that.
probably,
But anyway,
probably man.
on in the Clippers game, uh Miles, the big boy, the center, got into it with Bones Highland on the sideline. Over a play.
Okay,
They
yeah, I
called
did
the
see. I
time.
see. I
They
did see that.
called the
Yeah, yeah.
timeout, and they end up getting nose to nose or whatever like that. And I think one of
Mm-hmm.
them pushed the other one or whatever. You know, the team intervened, and it was pretty
Right.
much over with from there. They went on to run and won the game. And then in that Minnesota game, I'm speaking of Rudy Gobert and Anderson. I think Kyle Anderson, I think is his name. They
Yeah,
got
this
into it
guy.
to the point where Rudy threw a punch at it, hit him in his chest.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about sideline scuffles with a teammate? Like, is that like the end all be all? Like, we got to blow this thing up now, or does that happen? Does it? You know, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it happens all the time. I mean, in the spirit of competitiveness, like you're gonna get into it with your brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, let's just go back to when we was kids. Me and you didn't ever get into it. When we hooped, or you know what I'm saying? But I mean, we brothers. So I mean, at the end of the day, we got into it because we compete. I think it happens all the time. I don't think it's an end all of it. You know, I mean, but once again, it's a different generation too because we was able to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, and bounce back from it. But I mean, I personally don't think it should be because when you competing and you trying to get the best out of you, like man, you fucked up or whatever like that, and you know what I'm saying, you call the motherfucker out. Everybody want to get called out. But I just think it's in the spirit of being a competitor. I just think that it shouldn't blow everything up, but have it. What has it shown us though? Has it blown teams up? I'm gonna say
Cause,
yeah. Think about the
'cause
KD and Draymond Green thing.
and Draymond and Jordan Poole, where he actually punched Jordan
But
Poole.
they still together though.
Yeah, but I know when they were struggling during the year, a lot of people would say like, "Man, this team ain't the same after that punch or whatever." You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
to kind of say what you said about KD, I didn't think about that with KD and Draymond. That's a lot of people say that's the reason KD left.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So obviously the Warriors were able to save face because they ended up winning another championship. But what if
Right.
they didn't never win another one and it was like
Oh yeah.
over with from there? You
Yeah.
know, I think it would have been a little ugly on Draymond.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's why I say like nowadays, people be so much in their feelings over this stuff where you can't go in at the end of the game, y'all sitting at the locker, my bad, bro, or you know what I'm
Right.
saying, whatever like that, like you should be able to do.
Yeah.
So you know, they ended up suspending Gobert for tonight for the play-in
Yeah.
game.
Key.
So that's
Yeah,
gonna
and the
hurt the
other dude
team.
broke his hand.
Yeah, punch the wall.
Yeah, that's just stupid. Did he even have anything to do with it? Like I'm trying to
He didn't
understand.
have
Like
nothing to
why
do
did
with
he
that particular situation. He broke his hand going into the locker room or
what was
something.
he
He
mad
punched.
at?
I don't know because they won the game, so I don't.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't.
Like, well,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to understand that part. Like, y'all won the game. What are you mad about?
So they lose. They lose. Arguably, they top two defenders
Yeah.
for tonight's game against the Lakers.
I mean, I think he's
So
gonna lose anyway, but still.
yeah, but I mean, you lose your defense. So I was looking at something. So you know they saying that Cal Anderson called Rudy Gobert a bitch,
Mm-hmm.
told him something and called him a bitch. So I was listening to something that said that I think Draymond was one of the ones who put it out there too. Said that that's like a reputation that Rudy has in the league. That a lot of people think he's soft. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people think that about him. So I was looking at the Minnesota situation, And you know, they brought him in. You know, they gave up a lot for him. They gave
Oh,
up a
Rudy
lot of
Gobert?
picks. Yeah, they gave up a
Yeah,
lot for him, which I think
yeah,
they overpaid for. I don't know why they gave up all that
absolutely,
shit. But
absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you who I blame for that. I blame Big Cat for that because you didn't want to go down there and bang in that paint, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They felt they had to bring this defensive enforcer in here to play with you.
Okay.
And it has not worked out. They number statistically they're worse when Gobert is on the court, whatever like that, because he's not the defender that I never thought he was the defender anyway that they thought he was.
I mean,
But
he
he's
blocks
not
shots,
even
but
but he's not even that defender anymore statistically
right.
so far. So far. So
Mm-hmm.
you gave up all that stuff to bring him in to and be this enforcer for Big Cat. If
Mm-hmm.
Big Cat would have said, I'm a man this paint and man the middle, you know what I'm saying? Like even the Joel Embiid does. You know, I'm thinking of people that have similar
Yeah,
skill
yeah.
set. Joel
Right.
Embiid, Anthony Davis, Giannis,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? People like
Yeah.
that have similar skill sets where they can still stretch the floor, can put the ball on the floor, but play the paint like that. I think if he
Right.
would have been that if he would have took the defensive side of the ball more serious, they wouldn't have had to give up all of that stuff for Rudy Gobert, and you wouldn't be in the position that you're in right now.
I mean, I agree with you. But I also say if you a GM and you got a star player who not giving you what you need in that paint, what you gonna do? I mean, you either got a choice. You got a choice. You can tell him like, "Man, I need you to do this," but if you see that he's not doing it, as a GM, are you gonna ship your star player, or are you gonna try to give him some help?
Do
I
you
mean,
go?
what you
Do
gonna do?
you? Okay, but look at that situation, right? You remember, like why players like Tyson Chandler was so coveted. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't need the ball. He was just going to anchor your defense and rebound and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So instead of going to get a Rudy Gobert where you gave up all of that shit, go get a
yeah.
JaVale McGee.
No, I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Go get
agree that
somebody
they
like that.
overpaid. I agree they overpaid because they had to get somebody. But to your other point, you can't make Big Cat be something that he don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? So you had to get help or you ship him. If you're not gonna ship him, so you had to get him help. Now, did they get the right help? Probably not, because they had to
Well, I
give
say
up too much
go
to
get
get there.
JaVale. Go get
Yeah.
Desmac Biyombo. Go
Shit,
get, you know what I'm saying?
I go get motherfucker the white.
Yeah. Go get some. Yeah, I agree. Go get
You
that.
ain't paying that much for the white. Not no more.
Hell no.
And
Because
he's
they gonna
still
give
a
you,
fucking, you know.
he gonna give look, let me look it up. Let me see what Rudy giving you. He gonna give you the same thing what Rudy giving you, but on the vet minimum.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so they jumped the gun with that move, man. So Rudy Gobert this year, 13 and 11, which ain't bad.
No, that ain't bad.
You know what I'm saying? Which ain't that ain't bad. 13 and
What the
11.
blocks looking like? What the blocks looking like?
Let me see. Okay.
Is he at least averaging 2 blocks a game or something?
1.4.
About a block and a half.
Which is his lowest. Every other game, all other years, he's giving you 2 and 3 blocks.
Right.
You
So
know,
he ain't anchoring the defense like he ain't anchoring your defense like he was before.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think he's I don't know. He does not look like that. Like I say, I never really thought he was as good as they said he was. But
Oh, me neither.
he's not even looking like that player.
That was back in Utah.
Right. He's not even looking like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I think I just find that hard to believe. That's just like if Philly, now you can go get me some help, like to back me up, like as far as come off the bench behind me or whatever like that, but you shouldn't have to go get another star like that in that situation. You know what I'm saying? But see, Big Cat don't want to play in that paint, period, though. He want to stretch that floor. And I noticed that a lot of them is like that. Remember they kind of had to make Anthony Davis play the 5.
Yeah.
Which helps his team know when you at that 5, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
opposed to you playing the 4. Like, can't no other center match up with you for the most part. But them guys don't want to play that 5.
I mean, they don't want to deal with that physicalness inside.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, even though we looking at the game, it's different from looking at it and you actually down there and then nobody's hitting you. You know what I'm saying? Every play. You know, every play you down there. And so they like me. I'd rather go out here and shoot this thing. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's one of the reasons. And you know Giannis, my man. That's one of the reasons Giannis do what he does, though. Because they duck and dodge his physicality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't want to feel this or whatever like that. It's nowhere in the world. And again, I'm a huge Giannis fan. I think Giannis is gonna go down. Like he needed a couple more things, a couple more championships and stuff. But I think he's on a trajectory to be a top 10 to 15 player of all time if he stay on it. But it's no way in the world in the 90s and even in the early 2000s, Giannis is gonna take that ball off the rim with his lack of dribbling ability. It ain't like he, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you did have some bigs that can actually, but it's nowhere in the world he takes that ball off that court, go coast to coast, and nobody steps in front of him. Nobody does. You know what I'm saying? One of the main things they taught us was you stop the ball.
Yeah, get stop the ball.
You gotta stop the ball.
Make him get that motherfucker up.
Right. Yeah. How are they letting somebody with that lack of dribbling skills do what he does? They don't want to feel it. They don't want to feel the physical.
But that's the same reason why at 20 years, LeBron still who he is. You 6'8", 270 pounds, some shit like that. Man, you ain't trying to feel that shit. Yeah. So, you know, when he come down there, motherfucker, you know, and you ain't trying to feel that shit, bro. So that's why he still success. I mean, he had a way better jumper than he did when he first came in the league. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that along with like you ain't trying to feel that physicality, bro. I mean, they kind of like, you know, it's the same thing with both of them. They coming down that that's a lot of meat coming down there.
Yeah. Because even think about like I say the 90s, early 2000s, even players that were not really that good, like you still got to deal with Dale Davis, Antonio Davis, Popeye Jones, and you know what I'm saying? Them guys that was just like there to take the pound in order to
Rick Mahorn and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm
Stuff
saying?
like that, bro. Yeah. Like if Giannis had to deal with them type of guys that was there for the physicality with you, all right, I'm gonna match this shit with you. I still think he'd have been good, but he wouldn't do what he do today if he had them guys, them grown men that was matching your physicality, bro.
How many grown men in the league now?
Yeah.
It's a young man's league now.
Yeah.
So I mean it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like you had the old heads in there, you know what I'm saying? Had that old man strength. You know what that old man strength feel like. You know what I'm saying? So
Charles Oakley Oakley and Xavier McDaniel and them and all that.
I was about to say X-Man and that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's different, bro. It's different. The league is different. You know what I'm saying? And that's how when we talk about it, the young cats look at us like we crazy because it's just a different league now. You know, we talking about when it was real old heads in there. Putting that arm, you know what I'm saying? It ain't none of that no more.
Yeah. And you know, they was talking about that recently about talking about hand checking and why they took hand checking out the game because they won't scoring more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They want more scoring and stuff. Cause like hand checking, like somebody as good defensively as like a Scottie Pippen, where I'm good, I can move my feet and everything, but at the same time, I get to put my hand on you and guide you where I want you to go to.
Yeah.
So it was harder to beat a defense if he can guide you where he wants you to go.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You got to really beat him, or you really got to have your move or physical ability to be able to pass, or whatever, that I can put my forearm or, you know what I'm saying, can touch you. You know what I'm saying? Right. That hand checking is different. Of course, if you are a skilled basketball player and I can't touch you, how am I supposed to stop you?
As soon as I touch you, it's a foul.
Yeah, I can't touch you. Like, how am I possibly gonna stop you?
I mean, you really can't. That's why some people like, man, he unguardable. Yeah, he unguardable because I can't touch the motherfucker. As soon as I put my hand on him and check him a little bit, you can call a foul on him.
I remember Tony Allen saying that about James Harden. Early on when James Harden first got to Houston, you know what I'm saying? Hand checking wasn't there, but they was allowing you to, they was allowing you to be a little more physical. And this was like last year, the year before. I heard Tony Allen saying this. He say he locked Harden up one of them games, like locked his ass up bad. And he say, I can't do that today though. He say, because the rules is in his favor. Like you know what I'm saying? They allowed me to be physical with him then. And that's why I was able to do, you know what I'm saying, to do that and kind of lock him up. He like, but with them not allowing me to touch him or whatever, I can't guard him. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way I can shut him down if I can't touch him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I mean, well, we see it every game though, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We see it every game. And that's why we like, man, dude, he cold. He ungodly. Man, you put him back in the era where we was playing, like a lot of this shit wouldn't happen. Like, a lot of these kids, like a lot of like Isaiah Thomas, who actually, had to dribble and do that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had to go through all that physicality. Like a Rod Strickland. They beat motherfuckers' ass back then. But and I hate that we don't talk about Rod Strickland enough.
Yeah, we put
I
that.
hate that
Hey,
we don't talk about him.
put that up in the storage box. We got to do a segment on Lightning Rod, man.
We got to do Rod Strickland, bro.
Yeah, we got to do a segment on him, let people know how cold that man was. Like that's just to touch on it a little bit. That's Kyrie, what, Godfather or something.
Yeah, I know.
That's what Kyrie got a little bit of that English from. You know what I'm saying? Being able to, you know what I'm saying, put that ball on that glass, like, kiss it off that glass and stuff like that. He got a lot of that stuff from hooping with old Rod.
And that's who helped Derek.
The role, yeah, at Memphis, wasn't it?
Back in Memphis. Yeah, he said Rod to get him out there and just different angles, so on that rim, a different way to put it up on that rim and shit. You know what I'm saying? He said he worked with him a lot, you know what I'm saying, on that shit. So yeah. I'm telling you, that motherfucker cold, bro.
Yeah, Rod was cold. Let me ask you this. So obviously we know that the playoffs is kicking off. You know what I'm saying? The play-in tournament actually kicks off today.
Right.
Who would you say can either project it? Let's start with project. Who can project themselves higher on their all-time list or all-time where they're gonna land or whatever like that with a championship? Who do you think stands to gain the most from winning the championship? Name a couple players who you feel.
I mean, the obvious would be KD. Another person would be Chris Paul. I mean, obviously in the same team now. I think an underdog, even though I think, they got to get through the play-in too. An underdog to submit his legacy is like one of the best small forwards, two-way players would be Jimmy Butler, if he was to win a chip.
People need it and some people don't. Do you think Jimmy needs it? Is it because think about this. If Jimmy wins, who is he really gonna bump out the way? And I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan, Jimmy my man. But who is he? Who are we arguing about Jimmy with? So is it really gonna change what Jimmy lands? For instance, if Jimmy wins, are we putting him over? Are we putting him over Carmelo Anthony?
You won't put him over him, but I will put him over him as a better all around player.
So yes. Period. Anyway, right now, are you saying that about Jimmy?
No.
You saying he needs the chip to be able to do that?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I ain't think about Jimmy. That was a good one. I ain't think about Jimmy.
Yeah. Trying to think of somebody else. Who you think?
Obviously, like you said, the Chris Paul, the KDs, or whatever, that stuff is a given. You know what I'm saying? But my guy Russ, if Russ win a chip, that helps him tremendously. You know what I'm saying? On the all-time list, that helps the perception that people have of him, stuff like that. Another one, Joel Embiid. You know what I'm saying? With him winning the MVP, like he more like he finna win the MVP. I think they say he took over the race from Joker. So he finna win the MVP. So if he wins MVP and then get that chip, you know what I'm saying? Like that submits him, that pushes him past the Patrick Ewings and you know what I'm saying, and some of them people like that, because he's gonna have the statistics already. Right. But if he wins the ring, MVP, all that type of stuff, I think that projects him, you know what I'm saying, above some of them other guys. Joker, you know, he got the 2 MVP, and we kind of question him like, man, was you supposed to get, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other. But he goes into a different company now if he get 2 MVP back-to-back, a ring, and with the statistics that he gonna put up, you know, that he gonna have his whole career, I think he'll benefit from, you know, obviously everybody will benefit, you know what I'm saying, from it, whatever.
Yeah,
but,
you know, of course.
How do you think it changes Tatum?
I mean, I just think he's young right now. Anyway, I think, you know, so I'm not really putting him in that because he's still young. Okay. Like the players we talking about, you know, vetted in the league, you know, and they kind of, their status is already up there. We're just trying to propel them to that next level. Tatum's still young. He's still a puppy in the league, man. I won't put him in that conversation right now.
So what does another ring do for Steph?
Would that make a 5? That make 5 rings Steph? Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, at this point, Steph is Steph. Right. I mean, I think he already there. I mean, he's literally changed the game, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's like, he already there. Like, what you gonna, I mean, you ain't never put him at GOAT status. You might put him at GOAT status as far as best shooter in the league, that best shooter to ever come out. But other than that, I mean, where are you putting him if he get another ring?
So do you up his point guard position?
He's not a point guard.
I mean, but you got to list him as something, and he's never been listed as a shooting guard.
You can list him as a point guard, but he's not a point guard. He's more of a combo guard, shooting guard. He's not a point guard. That's why he's always had somebody to facilitate. You always had a Andre Iguodala. You always had a Draymond Green. You always had Andrew Bogut. You always had somebody to facilitate for him.
What's the other one came off the bench? Sean Livingston.
Right. You always had somebody to facilitate. So I can't put him as a point guard. He would go down as the best shooting combo guard to ever play the game.
I'm trying to think somebody else who, if you think it'll change their legacy or not. I'm trying to think what does the fifth ring do for LeBron?
I think a 5th ring for LeBron would only help him get closer to Kobe and Mike. I mean, I think he's gonna always be either talked about on a level with them or right back up under them, regardless of what he does. So it's like at this point in your career, 20 years in, you are what you are. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at it. And I think a lot of people look at it like that. He is what he is. You know what I'm saying? He's a great player. He's the greatest player in this era. You know what I'm saying? In this era, he's probably considered the greatest player in this era. That's what he is. It ain't nothing else he can do.
What does number 3 do for Claw?
I'm gonna say the same thing. Nothing.
You don't think it does?
In my opinion, nothing. He's already a great player. He's already considered a great player. I mean, he don't play a lot no more, but he's already considered a great player. So it's like he won another ring. We already know he's a great player. Like it's really no storylines in them other than like maybe the KD, the Chris Paul, you know what I'm saying? The Russ obviously is a big one. You know what I'm saying? Those are good storylines because you got something behind it. Chris Paul is considered the point guard, but he ain't never won a ring. KD haven't won a ring without being with the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? He went to Brooklyn and do shit, you know what I'm saying? That he there, you know what I'm saying? That's a good story for that. You know, the Jimmy thing that we made up, that's a decent story to that. Everybody else is pretty much is what it is, you know. I think, like you said with Giannis is a good story because he's a dominant player. So piling on rings gonna propel him in that top level, you know what I'm saying, as far as like he's gonna probably be considered one of the best small forwards to ever play the game. You know what I'm saying? So, but everybody else, their legacy is pretty much cemented. Like there's nothing else you can put there for them other than that, okay, you tacking on rings. I mean, you already considered Claude a great player. LeBron considered a great player already. I mean, it's nothing else. Steph. When you think about Steph, he's already one of the greatest, you know, players to play as far as combo guard shooting. I mean, what else could you say about him?
So we'll see, man. The playoffs getting ready to kick off tonight, man. Do you like the play-in tournament?
I do. You know what I'm saying? It give you that extra little, you know, for me, it's just always that, like I said with baseball, with the playoffs, it gives you that extra little, you know, intensified, you know, thing to it where you like, man, okay, let me see who, you know what I'm saying? Because you could be the 7th seed and still don't make it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like, okay, man, make it more interesting because you can get knocked out by the 10th motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you could have had a bad game and get knocked out. So it makes it more interesting.
So, I don't know. At first, I was kind of on my old man shit. Like, no, if you don't make that top 8, you dead. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, but like you say, it does make it interesting, especially coming down the stretch of the regular season. You know what I'm saying? You waiting to, because I don't know if you how much you paid attention to it this past weekend, Sunday in particular. Like that in that West, that 5th through 9, I believe, was decided by a game. Like if this team, if the Clippers would have lost and this team won, then the Clippers ended up 5th. They could have ended up 9th.
Yeah, if the Lakers would have beat them.
I'm saying come Sunday, just this past Sunday. If the Clippers would have lost and I think it was the Pelicans. That's who. If the Clippers would have lost, but the Pelicans won, the Clippers would have dropped down and the Pelicans would have ended up because you know you got to deal with the tiebreakers and all of that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the Pelicans beat the Clippers all 4 games this year. You know what I'm saying? But the Clippers had the tiebreaker over the Lakers and over Golden State. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that shit was real fishy. Like how it could have, you know what I'm saying? How it could have ended up.
Right.
So that's why I say that play in and see the difference. Like that play in, like just say the Clippers, they don't start to Sunday, but the play in start tonight. So it's like if you didn't, you know what I'm saying? So now because I dodged the play in, I get an extra week of rest.
Yeah.
When teams like the Lakers now, they got to play this week.
Yeah. I mean a lot. Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, they play in make it a lot of, make it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, so, that's what I look at.
Yeah. So we'll be in tune with y'all, man. Like I said, NBA playoffs kicking off. We're gonna obviously be, broadcasting and doing shows and then, talking about this, what's going on with that, man. This is the best time of year, man. This the best time of year. So this is what we see. Like the season went fast to me.
It did.
It did. Like the season went fast, but again, chime in, comment, like, share. Let us know what y'all think, man. And especially the question that I asked, like, who do y'all think stands to gain from winning a championship? Or even we flip the question: whose legacy is hurt if they don't win this year? You know what I'm saying? Like whose legacy is hurt if they, you know what I'm saying? If they don't win, is just kind of pose this question real quick on the way out. if LeBron makes the finals and lose again, he end up what 4-7 or what? Does that hurt?
I mean, some people would think that. I don't think it would hurt though. That's just me. I think what he's done is
Minute.
it's cemented in there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think it would hurt, but I know a lot of people would. But that's because you're trying to gauge with Mike. You're trying to gauge, you know what I'm saying? But so yeah, people gonna have that argument all the time, bro. Mike won 6 times, he won 6 times. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right, man. Another episode of Bringing the Business, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Peace out, man.